Accomplishment cannot be bought or sold, nor is it a destination on a road map where lights shine brightly upon you and crowds cheer your name into the open air. You can't get up in the morning and slip accomplishment on as you prepare for your day, or lay it gently on your bedside table at night before drifting off to sleep. Accomplishment comes from within, born in the minds of the always curious, the searchers and the dreamers. It's about learning, breaking boundaries and taking risks, then throwing the obvious to the wind and choosing to look deeper. To accomplish is to create, to see the world differently, and to never let defeat be the end. It's the thrill of the chase, the joy of the hunt, and reckless abandonment in the pursuit.
So how is everybody? I'm going to be left-handed today because it's mainly executives on the right hand, although I see some other colleagues also on the right hand. So it's always great to be here. I wanted to say that with great care, but let's just let it out there. It's always great to be here on this campus. I was reflecting the last couple of days as I was gathering myself for this time that we're going to spend with you the next hour or so, and then spend time with some of the staff just to have conversations about the issues that trouble you and the issues that you believe we should assist you with. And obviously also to learn from you about the outstanding accomplishments. So these visits are always an important part of our calendar as the executive. You will notice that a third of the audience is the executive. So we have about 18, 19 executives and about 3 colleagues representing executives who are not able to make it. So it just demonstrates that we take these conversations seriously. It also demonstrates our openness to conversation. In fact, as we know, a founding value of our institution is conversation. And so these conversations are important. We're not just here to tick the box that we have been around. You know, just for the performance scorecard to say, you know, we've been to Soweto campus twice or thrice this year. We do it because you are important to us. You are valuable to us and to our collective institution. And so you are valuable and important partners in this project of continuing to elevate our institution's standards of excellence and, of course, its reputation and stature here in our country and, of course, our continent and beyond. Now, it is the case that our journey up until this point has been a journey of many early accomplishments. Many of these earlier than we expected. So for Joe, as you heard him earlier, having presidents visiting this campus and our university, that's for him the standard. Which is a good standard, I guess, right? To have the presidents of the United States of America and coming up, the president of Ireland, very important nation. I mean the latter. Very important nation. There is so much that we need to continue to learn. I suspect not many of us understand Ireland and its story, which is not unlike our own struggle for freedom and democracy in South Africa. in their instance, a struggle against the English colonizer. English colonizer which still has a foothold in Northern Ireland. In effect, from my point of view, a sham province up there in Ireland. And so for the Irish, Northern Ireland still represents an unfinished struggle, an incomplete struggle against English colonialism. And so whereas the US has its own imprint that it has on itself and on the world of a so-called free nation where anything is possible, except, of course, if you live in the slums. But nonetheless, a nation that projects itself as a free nation where anyone can flourish. A nation of foreigners, of course. And so Joe's standard, which is a useful standard, useful indicator, is when we can host presidents of that stature. Hopefully also one day the King of Swaziland, right? Why are you sniggering here? So our journey until now has been a journey of many early successes. Successes that even surprise our domestic peers, puzzle them, concern them. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with disrupting your neighbor's way of going about things. But of course, for us, it's not about our neighbors as much as about ourselves and our role and place in South Africa, the continent, and beyond. And so, like that interruption we just heard now, there are moments when our progress shall be interrupted, must be interrupted, because of things that are outside of our control. And so sometimes it's an irritant. A necessary irritant. And so if we are going to continue our progress, build momentum, advance in the manner that we seek to advance, as our 2025 Strat Plan challenges us to advance towards. A plan that challenges us to advance towards. You got that message right again there? An institution that is a university of international goodness. You can see the disruption what's caused to me, my headspace now. An international university of choice, anchored in Africa, dynamically shaping our shared future. That's what we're advancing towards. And there are a range of strategic objectives, 6 of them. To be able to continue to do that will require great effort, will require fortitude, will require us to struggle, hopefully not to be conflicted or to be in conflict, not to be conflicted, but to be in conflict, but to struggle. It will challenge us to endure. Because we have struggled with great effort and we've endured that we have reached this point. And so what will be required is more of the same. Amazing accomplishments requires extraordinary effort, resolve, resilience, struggle, endurance. And at times, It will be like those irritants, necessary evils, irritants that we just heard in the last couple of minutes. It will be like that. At times we will feel as individuals that we don't matter. The impression that we have, the experience we have, is that we don't count. It is important for us then to call on our resolve. It's important then for us to be reminded of where we are seeking to go, what we are seeking to accomplish, and how we fit into that journey. It's going to be important for us because I often suffer from that. When something disturbs, when something upsets, when something was not predicted, when something was not planned, I can quickly feel that the wheels are coming off. I can quickly conclude that the institution is in crisis. I can easily conclude that there's a misalignment. Yesterday, a word that was used in our conversation with staff was mismatch. I can easily conclude that there is a misfit between what the institution believes it is doing and accomplishing and my experience. Got that? And so the two questions that have been raised with us this morning, the third one, Joe, you'll have to help us. The two that I've seen relate to this kind of challenge. So the one question is a question about what does it require? What's the requirements for us to continue to elevate our stature? What does it require for us from an academic point of view to continue to elevate our stature? How do we grow our reputation? By way of example. Well, one of the answers that is there says, in order to do that, we need to have a PhD or equivalent. That we are more likely to get research output, which is important for elevating reputation and stature, and in turn citations. Because we're looking for impact as well of our work and influence of our work in the wider world, right here in Johannesburg and beyond. And because we are able then to supervise doctoral students and master students, which in turn also elevate our reputation. So we can register more masters and doctoral students. And so as things stand, 43% of our academics hold PhDs or a D.Tech or an equivalent. A further 42% hold a master's qualification. Got that? So if the argument is that we need a PhD to get to certain points along the journey, the route that we're following, then we're sitting at 43%. How are we going to get to 100% or close to 100%? Well, we begin by putting in place a program for staff to require them to have at least a master's qualification. That makes sense? So that the next step is to help those staff with masters to get a PhD or equivalent. Does that make sense? And so, was it 4 years ago, Anjana, we started the Masters SQP?
2009, ready to go in 2010.
So 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 5th year, right? We put in place a range of support measures. We didn't just say in 3 years' time, no, anybody without a master's, you're out of here. We said, 3 years, we're going to support you, provide you with a research grant, provide you with time off, provide you with fill-in staff. You can see, right? And? So a dedicated program of support called the SQP we put in place. I should say that in few exceptions, very few exceptions, do we allow for someone, a member of staff without a master's qualification, to continue to serve us in the institution and to make a contribution. Those exceptions are rare. And the only exception that comes to mind immediately is the chartered accounting profession, which will require its own discussion in future as to how we go forward, given our research ambitions also in accounting. So with the exception of accounting, where we say that if you are a registered chartered accountant, we consider that for now equivalent to a master's qualification. And so the question that was asked is, hey, you see, you have given me notice to exit. For in the 5th year, you have considered me now a person who's incapable. And my response then is that if, surely, with the support available and with the alternative to a master's qualification of a CA qualification, registered CA qualification, professional qualification, if you've not been able to pull it off, you're not going to pull it off, in my view. And so, unfortunately, you know, after the yellow card, what card comes? Get the message. And so, we unfortunately have had to exit, meaning the red card, for a number of colleagues in the institution. It's regrettable. It's most regrettable. It's most regrettable. It's most regrettable because we've put in place a program of support, dedicated program of support, and we've given adequate time. I remember the days, and I don't hear those days anymore, Mhlobo. I remember the days when Mhlobo and others, the student activists, in 2006 and 2007 would be toy-toying and saying, we don't want to be taught by staff who've got a diploma. We don't want to be taught by staff who've got an honors degree. We even master's degree, we will take it for now. Yeah. So the students were clamoring, but obviously from a tactical point of view and a long-term strategic point of view, the institution has to determine where it's going and how it's going to get there, short-term and long-term. So I can't see the expectation declining for a master's or a PhD. I can only see the expectation increasing because it's a national expectation as well. The National Development Plan challenges us by 2030 that at least 60% of our academic staff should hold PhDs or doctorates. Let's call it doctorates. Not medical doctor, no? Doctorates. Yeah? We're currently sitting at 37, 38% as a nation. And that holds us down as a nation. It drags us down because we can't supervise the number of PhD or doctoral students that we should be. Just think of one university. It's got 100,000 students in Brazil. University of Sao Paulo. That university's output of PhD is, what's it again? Is it about 6,000 PhDs? One university. It's about 6. Well, we'll check that, but I promise you that one university produces more than our output as a country. Our total output is about 1,500, 1,600 PhDs as a nation, right? We can't drive towards the development plan's agenda of saying 5,000 output by 2030 because we have to fix the input side, which is our academic profession and its capacity, or lack thereof, to enable us to get there. So, we do these things, we set these ambitious goals, we put in place the programs and activities, not because we want to tick the box, and neither because we are patronizing as executives, because you don't matter, you are just a widget, right? No, no, no. It is either we are happy to stand still and we feel comfortable with our contribution to our nation, to the continent and the world, or we elevate ourselves. We have agreed our 2025 plan to elevate further ourselves as an institution. That's a shared agenda that we're all committed to. So let us elevate ourselves. And so on the academic profession, we've got a challenge to elevate, continuously elevate. One of the stats, Chilitsi, I might have used the wrong stat yesterday, but my impression is that only about half of our academics are research active. Is it less? 48%. So 48% of our academics are research active, which means that there is scope, right? But that scope is going to be informed by our PhD staff qualifications program. But ditto for our professional and support staff. I'm not saying masters and PhD. Be great, right? Be great, be fantastic. And you'll get your check to say, well done with your master's degree and your PhD. Here's the check, well done. Right? And therefore the master's and the PhD is elevating you in your role. It's elevating your contribution. But broadly, we need to elevate our contribution as professional and support divisions. And we've deliberated at the management executive on a set of standards that we are hoping to wrap up. So a set of key performance indicators for professional and support staff, because I'm sure you know that it's patently clear what the performance standards are for academics, isn't it? Isn't it? Right? Very tough-minded we are. But we're not as tough-minded on our professional and support staff. So we're going to have a set of clear indicators, much clearer than they are, in order to see whether the Vice-Chancellor and the management team and other managers and all of us on the professional and support division sides, whether we are in fact playing and making our contribution like our academics generally are making. And so each one of us matters. Each one of us counts. Each one of us is important in this project, this shared project. There's not one more important than the other. Yes, we play different roles. The Vice-Chancellor plays a particular role in the institution. But it doesn't make me more important than the person who's at the gate. Plays a different role. Doesn't make me more important than my executive assistant in my office. Plays a different role. And so each one of us is a critical partner in this work that lies ahead of us. And so each one matters, each one counts. Whenever I have an opportunity, I say, Ngiyabonga, thank you, well done, as I say now. Thank you, well done. Graduation ceremonies, 60 of them during the year, thank you, well done, fantastic, amazing, well done. That's what I say, as I say now. And so we're all important and critical in this project that lies in front of us. It's not possible for us to pull this off without each other. It's not possible. So not pitching up on a Monday regularly is not cool. So not pitching up on a Wednesday regularly is just not okay. And I know the trend line now very well. Not pitching up on a Friday is just not cool. And then signing sick leave. You know, 1 day sick leave. I don't have to fill in a form. We've already changed that policy, the MEC, to say once we see there's a trend, we expect you to come with a medical certificate and we'll check that medical certificate, like we've done with students. Yeah? What were the names of those doctors again? Dr. Dre. So if you come with Dr. Dre's, medical certificate, it's not cool. Yeah? It might look cool, but it's not okay. And so there are these kinks. There are these kinks in our, in the way we present ourselves that we need to fix. And so we all the time need to look inward, into ourselves, into our collective departments and units and faculties and portfolios or divisions. We need to look inward and ask, so what can I do differently to drive towards global excellence and stature? To drive towards global excellence and stature. Because already, as we know, education is already, saying, just look at us. We are ranked in the top 200 programs in the world out of 20,000 odd programs. Yeah? And they say, just look at us. Where's the professor? Yeah? The dean and the team will say, just look at us. Look at our reputation. And we're going to continue to improve our position, they say. Want to be in the top 100. Yeah? And law will say, Professor, just look at us. We're in the top 200. Top 200 means top 1%, right? And then, politics and international relations and English language and literature and a bit of geography and so on, also in the same position. And of course the other, HODs and deans are under pressure, right? Because they're not there yet. And we are working with them to get there. And working with you to get there. So, it's TGIF, right? Payday is behind us, unfortunately. The timing wasn't that great, Friday payday type of situation. But thanks a lot for finding time to come out. I just want to reinforce the second question related to, nobody says to me, thank you. Yeah? Nobody says to me, thank you. And the point made there is I'm not looking for a check or a raise. I'm just looking for acknowledgement. I'm just looking that I matter. So here we are as the executives. We're not on a cell phone. Okay, professor's taking notes, or an iPad, you know. We are here. We are giving you full attention. That's why we are here. Right? You've noticed that, right? That we are here to give you full attention. And so we're here to say you matter, you count, you're important. I'm just reinforcing that. And therefore, those of us in leadership and management position have responsibility. If somebody has done well, ngiyabonga kakhulu, well done. What can I do? What can I do to help you do even better? Right? Well done. The point made in that letter or that note is that I'm treated, some of us are treated unfairly. I don't know what that means. There was no clarification. Is it the bonus process? Is it the performance process? What is it that is causing this, what do you call it, the sense of being treated unfairly? And so I'm appealing to that member of staff, that colleague, just to write again and to clarify. If nobody is going to get up here today and clarify what these issues are. What was the third question, Joe? Oh, that was part of the other question about black professors. So of course we are all concerned that less than 10% of South Africa's professors are black. Less than 15% are black, Indian, colored. Is a sad testimony to either our failed efforts or the absence of efforts to fix that verwoorden outcome. So 50 years, was it 60 years after Verwoerd's famous observations about the place of blacks in this country, 60 years later, we are still lamenting the fact that we are not making headway. We're not making headway because there are just no damn programs at critical mass to fix this. So to you, Jay, we've put in place a range of measures to build from the bottom up. And that's all nice and good. So we've got a New Generation Scholars Program. Now we've got senior tutor initiatives. We've got assistant lecturer initiatives. And the idea with those is that 60% of the uptake in those initiatives are black. That's the objective with those appointments, because we want to get young black, what do we call them? Young black students to get on the train to becoming great academics. One of the programs that we will now implement over the next 3 to 5 years is a parallel program to, within 3 to 5 years, elevate a targeted group of academics, mainly senior lecturers, but also some talented lecturers, to elevate them to associate professor. Support them, like the SQP, support them, provide the support and the mentoring, help them understand the requirements to be an associate professor, and provide them with the support to get there. So not a market approach, which is the approaches that all of us have been focused on, and you hope and pray that there'll be progress. We're saying 100 academics need to be brought into this program in the next 12 months or so, 60% of whom will be black and 60% who will be women, right? And we want to see them associate professors in the next 3 to 5 years. Not by magic wand. No? It's not a magic wand. It is effort. Great effort. Resolve. Struggle. Endurance. And victory. victory being appointed, being promoted to associate professor in the next 3 to 5 years. So yes, we're serious about this. We're the only university working at this scale, both at the bottom and when we implement this program, working at the top end as well. So, Joe, does that cover that question? So we've got about 20 minutes, and I want to invite any further contributions or questions, observations. Joe has appealed also for some positive outlook, although he's also appealed for some challenges. Remember, these conversations are intended to excavate and then to elevate into prominence critical issues that are cross-cutting, that are systemic. So we're not going to be answering questions about you, the individual, and about your performance conversation, or about your bonus problem, or about, you know, this, that, or the other issue. We're going to ask you to take yourself out of the issue as best as you can and to present the issue, not present yourself, right? Because we're trying to see trends, right? We're trying to see, we visited DFC yesterday, we were at APB not so long ago, and APK. We want to see if there are trends also, or are there campus-specific issues that are preventing you, and in turn preventing us from making the headway that we should towards 2025. So, John, over to you.
Thank you, VC. Do we have any questions? Anything? Gipsy? Who else? Gipsy?
Mhlobo, you don't have a list of issues. Just checking.
Torela, I have compliments.
Your name? Your name and what you do?
My name is Gipsy Diale. I'm from Faculty of Management, Future Fit.
Veteran.
Yeah, I work at the Center for Small Business Development. I have compliments. Recently, I felt sick at work, and I visited our clinic. And the dispatch that I got, I didn't even have to revisit the doctor in case the students will come and complain like they did before, that they're given Panado to go, and even when they have flu. So I would like to congratulate the clinic that the dispatch is good. It's at a higher level, and I'm grateful that they helped me. The second one is I want to congratulate your office with the recent appointments of more women. Yeah, it's very encouraging to see UJ moving towards women empowerment. Those are my two compliments. The third one is I'm just having a concern on, there's this women event, Women's Day. How it's done and how people are getting invited. You see an email on your way to work. When you get to the office, you RSVP and you are told it's full. And that it's every year. We get that every year. My suggestion is that department can do better. They know the logistics of women in the university. They can find a way of doing it, unlike treating it as a pool of Bethesda, where when they stay, you must jump in quickly. So I'm just requesting that please do a better logistic, because you can be here for 10 years and you'll never attend that function. And when you look at the people they are inviting, every woman needs to be encouraged. So please find a better way of addressing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gipsy. Any other hand? Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Welcome Kupega. I'm in the Academic Development Center. I just want to comment about something which I've experienced recently. I'll talk from the perspective of teaching and learning. Sometimes when you arrive in the campus, especially in the morning, you have been invited by the generator. And all to find that there is no power. And my concern is one, we appreciate that you are able to go to class and be able to engage our students. But we as academic staff, we are not able to do our thorough planning. For example, like printing out papers and so on, because we find that in our offices, the generators are not linked to our offices to access also the power. I would appreciate maybe if the new campus director, if you can look at that, so that you'll be able to be on the same par with the student. Thank you.
Okay.
So staff are not on par with students.
Any?
Okay, we don't have to try and draw blood from a stone. So Joe, it's evident that things are going very well, apart from the issues that have been raised that require our attention. I should just say that we don't have to wait for this day, right? Remember, this day comes 3 months, 4 months. And so my appeal is that when you've got issues that really are burning and that you've made every effort to tackle them in your line, right? Remember, that's how we operate. We can't have chaos. Sorry to use that word, it's a bit of a hard word. We can't have untidiness in the organization, in our institution, when everybody bundles into the office of the VC to try and resolve their issues, right? We have managers and supervisors. If that fails, we've got an executive director. If you've made every effort and you failed, then you've got a DVC or a registrar, right? It's only then that we try and engage the Office of the Vice Chancellor to say, and I'm not saying wait for 6 months until you've exhausted, right, that chain of command in the institution, but that you make every effort and that you, surely if you are not satisfied, you approach the Office of the Vice Chancellor, and we've got Tumi in the office. So as usual, as you know, it's vc@uj.ac.za. That's our email address for issues that you want to bring to our attention. By the way, bring to our attention also great things and accomplishments so that we can communicate that to our institution and beyond our institution. I want to finish off by saying that there are 2 things just to reinforce again. The first is our hotline. Please use the hotline when you have picked up an issue that is out of line of your expectations of us as a collective, right? One of the things that we worry about is the corrupting of our systems and processes. Whether it's procurement, or whether it is tests and examinations, or whether it is Dr. Dre kind of situation. What was the other one's name, man? I forget now. What's this young woman? She's not young anymore. Actress and singer. Huh? Was that? No. Not bad. Not bad at all. I just have a mental block now. Light-skinned, African-American also. Queen Latifah, yes. So that was one of the other doctors. Yes, it was Dr. Dre, Queen Latifah, And there was a third one but those two are the ones that stuck in my head, right? So we're deeply concerned about the corrupting of processes and systems in the institution. Right? And so we've got this hotline that is run by KPMG, right, Jaco? Please make use of that. Please. We need to hold each other accountable. The second issue is that Council has approved the establishment of the Office of the Ombuds. Okay, let me not say man, right? The Office of the Ombud. Right? And has appointed Mr. Mavuso Msimang. You know the name, right? No? Yeah? So he is quite a senior, retired South African. Was formerly the DG of Sand Parks. Was troubleshooter in Home Affairs as acting DG. Where else was he? He was, of course, before Sand Parks, he was DG of CETA, the state IT agency. Okay, maybe don't want to say too much about CETA. So long history, even before that. And so Council has appointed him to take up the office. And again, my appeal is that we don't now bundle in or rush headlong into his office, right? The idea again is, and my message when I will sit down with him will be, Tata Mzimang, Buti, yeah. We don't want you to consider any matter that has not been tackled in the institution, right? Because we don't want him then now to go and take his time to go and investigate the issue in detail. And so it's important when you've got a serious gripe, big issue, that you feel management doesn't care about. Right? Management is not concerned about it. And remember, it can be a personal issue as well. Right? Not just a systemic issue, a personal issue. That you feel management is not taking you seriously. Right? Please keep a paper trail, right, of how you have tackled the issue. So that when you go to him and you say, Boti, Tatam Simang, here's my issue. And here's the paper trail. Look at this. Right? I've made every effort. It's taken me 3 months to get to this point. Nothing has happened. Present your case then to him. And it will enable him then to check the paper trail and to be able to find where to go. Instead of him now starting from scratch, needing to know who's your supervisor, who's your manager, who's this, who's that, in the big scheme of things. So those are the two things I just wanted to reinforce. So thank you very much. We're really grateful for your contributions to our shared project. And I'm told, please don't forget to take a photo if you've not taken a photo. Take a selfie of yourself downstairs. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day and the weekend. Cheers. Bye-bye.